Call to order Board of Trustees regular meeting Thursday, May 20th, 2021 at 5:30 PM. Roll call, Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Present.
Trustee Archuleta is going to be late. One of his son is getting an award, so he'll be coming in late. Trustee Lopez,
Present.
Trustee Baca.
Present.
Thank you. Opening prayer. I'll do the opening prayer, and Trustee Lopez will do the pledge. Lord, guide us in our decisions this evening. Uh, Hopefully, we make the right decisions for the village of Milan. Take care of the graduates and their families. We ask you to watch over all those that will be traveling this week on Memorial Day, and watch over our first responders, our police officers, our fire department, and especially our veterans. For this we ask in your Lord. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, on the agenda items, on item number 11, action item discussions, letter C, we're going to delete that one tonight. We'll take it up at our special meeting on Wednesday. And with that change, do we have any more changes to the agenda? No? I ask for a motion to approve the agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second the motion.
Motion by Trustee Lopez, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow. Trustee Baca.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Yes.
Thank you. Announcements of closed meeting on April 30th, 2021. There was no action taken and no decisions were made. Next, we go to the citizens to address the board. Do we have any citizens to address the board? Thank you. Go ahead.
Mayor, Board of Trustees. I think you all know me, but my name is Marcela Sandoval. And I was just coming because there's a lot of rumors going around and it was somewhat concerning to me that you're losing your manager. And I think that's very unfortunate and it may not need to happen, but I know that you went through several people before you got Sarah in there. And I came back to help her and she gave 200%. She tried to learn everything so that she would be able to do her job and do it right. Um, when I was here, I had the complete support of the board. And I told her, keep them informed and you will always have their support. Just always let them know what you're doing and keep your door open. And my understanding is she did that. I don't know if anybody took advantage of that or not. But if you lose her with the other people you've lost, you guys are going to be in a world of hurt. My recommendation, and I don't count for anything, but just so you know, she learned from the bottom to the top. If somebody wasn't there, she learned what it took to do that job throughout the whole village. If you lose her, I think you will see a big difference. I just wish you could find a way to keep her. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, next we have the approval of the minutes. Board of Trustees special meeting, April 5th, 2021. Board of Trustees regular meeting, April 15th, 2021. Board of Trustees special meeting, April 29th, 2021.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting on April the 5th, 2021, regular board meeting on April 15th, 2021, and the special meeting on April 29th, 2021.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow, second by Trustee Lopez. Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Yes.
Trustee Baca.
No, there was a discrepancy. I don't agree.
Which one?
I think we should talk about it in closed session.
What page is it?
Doesn't have a number. It's under the trustees meeting on April 5th. Or not the special meeting, but the second meeting on April 29th.
Okay, we, the board has voted, so, we have a unanimous vote. So the next, sorry?
In the closed session.
Okay, let's move on to approval of cash disbursement journal for April 2021. Are there any questions?
No questions, but comments. On the gas, it's really gone up. We need to really try to see if we can save by not leaving vehicles idle and stuff. Also, Connie, on the light bill for the multipurpose room was 457. Do you know why it's running so high?
I do. I reached out to George to ask him why that's always the way it's not used. The fans still have to run, the emergency lights still have to run, and the heater runs on electricity.
Oh, is that what it, okay. Also, the attorney is really high. That's just a comment for me. Other than that, I'm good.
Anybody else? No, if not, I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the cash disbursement journal for April of 2021.
I'll
Second.
second it.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow, second by Trustee Lopez. Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Yes.
Trustee Baca.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Thank you. Acceptance of municipal court cash journal for April 2021. Are there any questions on cash in the court?
No.
No questions?
I'll make a motion to accept the cash disbursement journal, the municipal court cash journal for April 2021.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Trustee Lopez, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow. Trustee Baca.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have the updates. Doria, are you going to give the updates? Or is
I'm gonna
Mike-
give the updates, not for the, is Dan on here?
No.
No? Okay, then I don't have, let me see what I have. I know Chief is here for the police department. Okay, so for the fire department report, we do have for the month of May, 8 fire calls, only one in the village, and that was a vacant trailer house. All other fires were in Grants and on I-40. One structure in Grants, one CMV fire on I-40, and the rest were brush fires with none in Milan. We have been asked to help with the Department of Health and the CC Emergency Manager, the Cibola County, for the COVID-9 test on Mondays, COVID vaccine clinic on Tuesdays. And 4 personnel have taken a FEMA class we hosted in Milan, and the class was investigation for the first responders. Let's see. For the vaccines given as of 4/15/2021, cumulative doses administered in New Mexico was 1,599,913. Doses administered in the last 7 days, 104,951. And total doses received in New Mexico is 1,931,405. So the total vaccinated Cibola County individuals are at about 42.8%, and the partially vaccinated Cibola County individuals are at 53.9. So we're doing pretty good in that area. Daniel will be going to New Mexico Fire State Academy for a fire instructor class May 17th through May 21st. And this class is a requirement for fire officer. And we are in the process of updating the fire pre-plans for all commercial buildings, which is an ISO requirement. And that's all we've got. I can print this out. We had a PowerPoint, as Sarah usually does have, but there needed to be an update to the Microsoft Office, and it doesn't seem like it's updating. So I will print this for you guys and give it to
That's
you
fine.
before you
I
leave.
think we've got it in our packet.
Oh, good, okay. Sounds good. So that's it for the fire department.
You don't have to call for it, you just have to report.
We don't, okay.
So I'll get it to you guys.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. Police chief?
I usually follow the fire chief. He sets me up pretty good. So but that was great. That was an excellent job.
Thank you, Carl.
So, how's everyone doing today? I'm dropping. All right. So I followed the same procedure with my monthly report on supplying previous month's numbers, just to show that across the board again we're increasing on just about everything. Our calls for service, traffic stops, incident reports. So obviously we're getting to warmer months. COVID's starting to get a little bit better, so that plays a part. But I also think we're also getting busy with some more violent calls than what I didn't see the first month. So I don't know what's going on with that, but our guys are handling it pretty well. We are already looking into some extra training for de-escalation and some verbal like judo to help with that. But the guys are handling them well. But we are getting a little uptick on some domestics and some more violent calls. So that was concerning. But with proper training that we already have and to push forward with, we're going to be fine. I did include in the report. We are required for a biennium training through the state every year. We finally got that completed, so all of our officers are up to date on that. I did throw back in there our response time to our calls are back down to what they were back in March. We did have a higher response time in April, but the officers, for whatever reason, you just can't predict that. If they're on one side of the town, we're in a small village, but you never know if they got stopped by a train or what the case was. But our response time is back down to what it was in March, so that was excellent. Guys are stepping up and requesting training. Better trained officers is better for this community. We're sending a guy to one of the officers to criminal investigations, which is going to be great. A couple guys stepped up for field training to train our new guys. And there's interest in being supervisors someday, so we're sending one officer right now into a first line supervisor training here in the near future. So a lot of these guys that worked in, sometimes they're heading to a call by themselves, if another officer's tied up or a couple officers are tied up with something, and we got to be able to know that they're going to be able to make a sound decision, which right now I see no issues with what we got. They're making the right decision, but having that supervisor training is going to help out in a great deal. So we did find a free training for our administrative assistants, which I love the word free. I think everyone loves the word free. So it's not going to cost us anything, and this is going to be a requirement starting in June. She's going to be trained up on that, so it's excellent. Our new officer, he's progressing pretty well. He's moving through the phases pretty quick. I don't see any issues there. Still pretty new as far as experience, but he's doing well. He's from the area, so he picked up the streets really quick. So hopefully soon, within the next month, our last he'll be on solo patrol, which is going to be an extra body out on the street for us, and that benefits us and the community. We got a bunch of trainings that we're looking into that other departments in the area can help us out with, that is at no cost. And we have training, we have several guys that are trained up that is gonna provide this training as well, our other training to the other agencies. So it's a win-win. We'll get trained up and have a great working relationship with area departments, and we'll get back with them and utilize the trained officers we have for them. Obviously, with marijuana becoming legalized here soon, there's a need for more training on recognizing drug impairment, impaired drivers. So the good thing is I'm one of 12 in the state here that's what's called a drug recognition expert instructor. There's only 12 of us in the state, so I could get a lot of our guys in this area trained up on that. So it's a benefit for that, not only for our agency, but our surrounding counties as well. So, and that's a free training offered. I did throw in here, I did notice on our sheet here, down below, we have something about police lapel camera and cell phone presentation. I was not aware that I was supposed to have any type of presentation. I can't talk about that now or later. I don't know if, okay.
If you want to go ahead and discuss it.
Yeah, I have a note on the report I supplied you with. So I did go to one of these trainings a couple weeks ago. I did meet a lieutenant from Alamogordo. He had this interesting device that it's a cell phone, but he was doing all kind of other stuff with it. I'm like, what is that, man? We got to talking about it. So basically what he had his cell phone that was also a body camera. He can make calls. He could take photos of a crash scene. It's also a GPS. It also supplies video, and he can pull up his map. It'll show where each officer's at. The good thing with this is it eliminates a lot of stuff we're already paying for. We're paying for a body camera. We're paying for a cell phone. We're paying for a camera. We're paying for storage for the body camera. We're paying for a GPS to track our officers. All these different places we're paying. This tool puts it all into one. And with this tool, I could sit at home and let's say dispatch calls me and says, hey, Officer so-and-so is not answering his radio. We don't know where he's at. We can't find him on GPS. Bam, I can pop that video up and I can see exactly what that officer's seeing. If he's laying in a field, hopefully that never happens, but I could see that. So it's a great tool. It also keeps us on our toes because, you know, if I'm doing something and it happens, not with our officers here in Milan, but if it happens, if these guys are messing up, we could pop that up just to check on them. I think it's a great tool. So it's something we're looking in for. We're getting a demo Saturday. They mail it out. And we're going to have test runs with it next week. Everything I'm seeing, it's going to be a lot cheaper just to have this one item than paying for everything else. So, you know, something breaks down with one of those other areas. With this, it breaks down. We have 24-hour support. We could call and they'll take care of us. So I like it. We're going to test it out next week and see how it goes. Funding for it, I got to look into where the funding is coming for all those other areas, but we also have our LEPF that could pay for it. So we'll look into that. Questions on that? No? I know I'm flying through a lot of this. I talk fast, so if I apologize if nobody heard anything or needs me to repeat it, I will. The last thing I will go over, kind of missed who was talking about earlier about some personnel we are losing. I don't want to touch on that too much. I will say, when I got here, just everybody that I had have an opportunity to work with, it was unbelievable, the connection. Like, it was like we've been working together for years. And that's everybody. Mike, Gloria, Sarah, the girls up front here, Denise, a couple times, I don't see her too much, but everybody's just gel, okay? And I use the analogy that, because I played baseball my whole life. You're a baseball guy. I played on teams that had all-stars, guys that got drafted, great baseball players, but we weren't very successful. I played on teams, we had guys that were a family, the teamwork was there, we got along, we had each other's back, we looked out for each other, we were a family, we were a team. When I got here, there's several people that It felt like home. It felt like family. It was unbelievable how quick we worked together. We were getting stuff done. We still are getting stuff done. And it's because we're like this, okay? I know we've lost at least 4, or we're losing 4 from areas in this village, different areas. I heard we're losing a city guy that's a damn good worker. Do we know why? Do we do exit interviews is my question. Why are these people leaving? Because we have some great employees here, guys. And I'd like to know why they're leaving as well. Because it makes my job easier when I can come, give somebody a hug. Give somebody a hug. You're doing great. How are we going to do this to get this village in this right direction? And that is awesome. That is awesome feeling to know that great people work here. Okay. Questions on that? All right. Thank you, guys.
We go to the village manager.
Yes. Okay, so I will pick up there with our Public Works report, our water department. For the total monthly gallons pumped from wells, it was 13,521,623. And then the total monthly water distributed is 23,741,191. All of the chlorine and microbiology tests were coming up, average. And the public service customer complaints investigated 4, customer complaints resolved 4. Low water pressure issues, there were not any for the month of May. And emergency call outs was at 4. Also, the quarterly report was sent to the state for our 3-month chlorine reports for the first quarter of 2021. And the water department and sewer department have been working on a list of village units, acid wash cell at well 50, installed motor at well B35, and a couple other items they did. Took factor truck to be inspected at motor vehicle. And they also went out and investigated a sewer backup on Yoakum Street. Main line was plugged. Eugene and Julian used Vector to clear and clean main line. The other additional information was a congratulations to Julian Aldaz for making the Employee of the Month. He also went to water certification level 1 on April 26, 2021 and passed. And that makes the village have 3 certified water operators in the water department. Also, the traffic control training for 2 employees on May 4th. And they both passed, and it was Julian Aldaz and David Chubb. So the next would be the parks, building maintenance, and streets. The total hours for the month was 168. In the streets, it looks like the majority of the time was trash removal and weeds in the medians. And also for building and maintenance, working on the doors, windows, and the office furniture and weed cutting. Next one I have is the mechanic, vehicle maintenance. Riley's been very busy. He's been repairing a lot of vehicles that are just normal changes, but they have to be repaired because they're important to the city. He's had a total of 14. A lot of it is oil changes, so that's regular maintenance, upkeep, battery changes, and just some smaller like rear light changes and such. The next one would be the swimming pool report. Looks like the swimming pool report, we had a total visits of 648 and the total revenue of $1,326. And on April 17th, Rich Smith reached 100 miles swimming, and the water aerobics classes are going well with anywhere between 10 to 15 per class. I personally have been going to the classes, and I mean, every time I've gone, it's been about 20 people capacity. So it's been pretty nice. And on May 1st, Wanda reached 100 miles also. So congratulations to both of those individuals.
Excuse me, what time are those aerobic classes?
They're at 5:30,
Is it every day?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
And then the transit report. We've got for March. Well, in April, there was total passenger trips of 1,209, which is up from 1,007 in March. And I don't know if Melissa wants to say anything else on that. Those were the total passenger trips. So that would be all for the departments. Any
Okay.
questions on that?
Any questions? Thank you.
Sure.
We'll move on to the action discussion items. First, we have Economic Development Foundation presentation.
Good evening, Mayor Gonzalez, Board of Trustees, staff, and guests. Eileen Chavez Yarborough. I'm with Civil Communities Economic Development Foundation, and I'm here to submit my budget request for fiscal year 21-22. And I noticed that on the agenda, the strategic plan was included for you all to take a look at. And so you should have a PowerPoint presentation in your packet. And so I'll just go through it very, very quickly just to make you aware of the items that we have been able to act on over the past year. And so if you'll go to the third page, you'll see that it's categorized as best fit targets. So we had a study performed in August of 2018 by Foot Consulting related to the Pruitt industry cluster, but really what it did was it included Gallup, Pruitt, and Grants Milan in that study to find out what the best fits are for the assets that we have here, what our workforce looks like, and if our workforce can match up with the targets that we're best suited for. And as you see there, Milan Industrial Park is best suited for warehouse and distribution, for anything related to food and beverage, plastics, whether it be manufacturing or recycling and repurposing, industrial machinery, oil and gas related products, paper, and call centers. And so this is all data driven. It was all based on what comes through on the main lines for BNSF, both going east and west, what's trucked through here, and what are the assets that we have to be able to take care of those items. So on the fourth page, it was called, the middle part of the plan was called the implementation plan. And these were actually goals, objectives, and strategies for our office to work on to help mitigate the job losses and get involved with creating economic-based jobs. So you see there for goal number 1 for workforce development, we worked on strategy 3 specifically. We've been working on that, working closely with NMSU grants to develop additional programs related to the healthcare field. Right now, they sponsor a BSN program, a Bachelor of Nursing. Those students are in cohorts. They get internships at the hospital to do their practicum. And then when they graduate, we hope to keep them in county. I believe the success rate has been over 80%. For every cohort that has come through, 80% of those people have stayed in the community working at the hospital. So we're home growing our own jobs and our own technical specialties. The next page talks about business attraction, retention, and small business development and entrepreneurship. And one of the things that we have been consistently working on is we continue to travel with the New Mexico Partnership on sales missions and continue to respond to recruitment opportunities. As you know, because of COVID, all travel was halted and everything went to a virtual format. And so, yeah, I'm over the virtual stuff and ready to start meeting people back in person again. But we were able to still attend quite a few trade shows and missions virtually. So our work didn't stop just because we started travel, just because travel stopped. And then you'll look on the next page where you'll see strategy 2, where we just talked about the prioritization of the target markets. And one of the main things that the board talked about was specifically related to attraction, that we be aware of any industry that we're attracting that is a high water user, because that is a precious resource for us. And so we wanted to make sure that we didn't attract a tenant that would deplete our water system. So that is always in the forefront of our mind. We want to put the water rights in play, but we don't want to deplete our source. And then we are working collectively and in a partnership with Greater Gallup Economic Development, not necessarily sharing leads, but we work on helping each other with proposals, because what benefits Grants benefits Gallup and vice versa. And the same thing for Pruitt. If something's going on in Pruitt, we will all benefit. We provide the workforce for Pruitt, and the asset happens to be in McKinley County. And then you'll look at number 5, where we are considering hiring a lead generation company. And that is included in the proposal that I gave to you. We would purchase that, and it would be shared amongst the 3 entities to help us get the numbers that we need, filling out those recruitment opportunities and getting our name out there. It's a numbers game. The more we can get our name out there, the more chance we have of being called back to be able to cite someone here, or even have them come look at a location here. So that is part of the request that we have this year, is to help fund that. And then obviously in objective B, a formal business retention and expansion program to create a minimum of 100 economic-based jobs. I do have a visit program that I try to visit one economic-based company per month, find out what they're doing, what they need, if they need help for expansion, workforce development, anything like that. And then we always collaborate and work with the New Mexico Economic Development Department. We worked with them very closely with McKinley Paper and helped them secure a job training incentive program award valued at more than $300,000, and adding 10 employees to their expansion efforts. C, enhance small business and continue to develop the ecosystem for entrepreneurs and visibility for SolarWorks. This year, we have employed more than 40 people in SolarWorks. And when you look at the average payroll that generates at approximately $13 an hour, the minimum wage for New Mexico is $10.50. At $13 an hour for 40 employees, you're looking at over $405,000 in payroll annually that is coming into this community from out of state. So it's new money, and we're creating wealth, and that's what we want to do. We all are also working with the CE Lab, Community Economics Lab, to develop a succession planning program, because we find and we see that a lot of businesses are closing. They would love to sell to someone, but there's no one there to help them figure out how they can either pass it on or sell it, or to keep the operation going. And that's very critical for us, because a lot of these businesses are very profitable and successful. They just don't have a succession plan in place. And so they don't have it. We lose that GRT, we lose those sales, we lose those jobs. Infrastructure and downtown development, we continue to work with Main Street, working with the city of Grants. My biggest directive was, to work on the Milan Industrial Park, become a BNSF certified site, use that asset to continue to mitigate the NGL issues, and finish up the master planning document so that we can move forward with pricing and begin to offer those sites for lease and development. And then, of course, we're still working on the Pruitt area. We've been working on Gallup, Cibola, and collectively with other state departments for over 4 years on this. As you know, Tri-State closed much sooner than we anticipated. So we had to pivot from that plan that we had been working on and address those job losses immediately. CCEDF was very fortunate to receive a $1.25 million investment from Tri-State. At this point, we are looking to see how we can collectively pool those funds with other agencies, and those the others that received funding as well, to see how we can pull it together and leverage that money to try and get larger sums of money that can make significant impact in the projects that we have going forward now. And so we continue to look for local, state, and federal funds. And then finally, on the second to the last page, you're looking for organizational development there. And we are trying to maximize our visibility and funding and enhance public relations. We try to roll out a social media program, working on the website. We have an immediate hiring job fair planned for June 26th, excuse me, on a Saturday morning from 9 to 12. And we encourage all local employers to participate. And we're encouraging all people that need to get back to work to please attend. Your employers need you. And so please make use of that resource. And then finally, the objective of, embarking on private sector fundraising to support the organization. We did receive $1.25 million, but that is not specific to the operations of CCEDF. It is earmarked specifically for job creation. So we still are challenged with making sure that we have enough to do all of the things in that strategic plan that you received in your packet in the agenda. As you can tell, only about half of those things were able to be completed. And I would like to remind you that we are here working on your behalf, but we can only do as much as the resources that are before us. We're requesting an increase back to $40,000. Each entity is being requested to go back to $40,000. That would give everyone an equal footing and voting representation on our board of directors. But it would also increase our resources and give us the opportunity to complete that strategic plan, those objectives, and those strategies to help us create more jobs. And so I just want to say I appreciate you all working with me. I'm happy to do more to help you all, and I hope that you all will seriously consider the increase so that we can move the needle on job creation and get our first anchor tenant into the Milan Industrial Park. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
I really enjoyed your presentation, by the way. It's a good presentation. On best fit target number 6 paper, what does that entail? Like,
So like we have the paper mill in Pruitt, so there could be a supply chain that, if they need a cardboard gathering in order to recycle what they do in Pruitt. Maybe they would need more water. Maybe they would need chemicals to help produce other types of paper products. Right now, mostly all they do is craft paper and cardboard, but there could be other things that they could do that could be a spin-off for our industrial park to be able to be a part of.
okay, thank you. And the other thing is, I really like when you mentioned not bringing industries that use a lot of water.
Right.
That's very good.
We want to put the water rights in play because we don't want the village to have to forfeit what they have, but we certainly want to, utilize them, but we don't want to deplete the source. And so we're very mindful of that. Finally, I would like to let you know that the chairman or the president of our board of directors, Robert Castillo, is here tonight, and also Joanne Martinez of Homestake Mining, who is the secretary of our board, is present as well. And so, thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we move to the Cibola County Chamber of Commerce presentation.
Sorry, guys.
So, good evening. This is a first for myself and the Chamber of Commerce. There was a history at one time where we worked with the Village of Milan and the City of Grants and Cibola County. And what I have submitted to you is a request to begin marketing plans to work with the Chamber of Commerce the Cibola County government, and the Village of Milan. And when I first took, my name is Brenda Cartwright. I'm sorry, some of you may not know me. I know some of you. And I'm the executive director for the Chamber of Commerce. I am right now the executive director, but I will go ahead and let you know that I will not be staying in the position. And right now the Chamber of Commerce is looking for my replacement. And the reason why is I have some personal things going on with one of my parents that I'm going to have to be involved with. We have board members here tonight, and I want to let you know that we have been working together as a board. We have added business members to our board so that we can really look at the business side of Chamber of Commerce and helping our local small businesses. We did a shop local campaign, and I have knocked on the doors in the businesses in the Village of Milan. I've come through, I've tried to get our posters out. I've talked to them about shopping local, and we started that campaign back in December. And what that does is it encourages individuals to drop into a small business. They can hashtag it on social media, and they can win a prize to the Chamber of Commerce every month. Some of you may have already seen that on social media. It's been very successful. When I first came on board, my biggest concern was the small businesses that have been shut down and not able to do business. And we were up and we were down. And how can we encourage the community to start supporting our small local businesses? I've gotten to meet really neat people by doing this, individuals that I probably wouldn't have gotten a chance to talk to without going out and doing this. But the other side of the Chamber of Commerce is what can we do for marketing strategies and pulling tourists off the highway, pulling tourists into grants. And we are sitting here in the most beautiful area. And the mining museum itself is where the chamber is located. And we have that opportunity to be a visitor center where we could well-train individuals to work with the tourists and tell them what all we have to offer in this area. So when I reach out to you asking for this, do you all still have this? I sent out individual letters as well to everyone about this. What we're looking at is it's been hard in our community, and our nonprofit organizations struggle to just make ends meet and keep doing what we've done through history to work with all of our governing bodies. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the Airport Museum. I'm looking at the Historical Society. By the way, they're going to be doing a ribbon cutting this week on Saturday in the morning. And those ladies have worked really hard in that place, putting together some nice history. So at the Mining Museum, we have that opportunity to promote this whole area. What I look at with that is that we can successfully possibly train museum associates that can work in all of the locations so that they can be trained to help everyone have the best possible experience when they're visiting our area. I felt like the Chamber of Commerce also needs to really work and represent the Village of Milan. And being able to just go out there and hire your own marketing person to work with the Village of Milan. Maybe you're thinking about rebranding. Maybe you have some new ideas that you would like to get going. I think that if we center that effort and we have the Chamber of Commerce back on board as a centered marketing location for all three entities, and we work together, I believe we can accomplish so much more. And in that, we can save money. We can put money together. We can attract to our whole entire area and the great things that we have to offer here. And so for me, this is obviously a first. And what I'm looking at is if we are able to start working with you with whatever you could possibly afford as far as funding for the Chamber of Commerce, then we could have quarterly reports. We can involve you in the marketing plans and the marketing strategies that will include the Village of Milan. And I really do believe the Village of Milan is very important to everything we do. I think that there's a great history here, and we want to preserve that, and we want to also have a really good future moving forward. So when everyone's working together, I think we can accomplish so much more. We were asking for 25,000, and obviously anything that you could do would be greatly appreciated in these times. And we kind of have given you some information of what we currently do for marketing. We have outdoor recreation on there as a possibility for new billboards. The reason being is because there's been a lot of work towards outdoor recreation and attracting tourists to our area. We have the need to promote some of that and to move forward some of the plans for that. We have the ability to work with different applications, to navigate through websites. And one thing that we are going to start doing at the mining museum is that we will be selling tickets to individuals coming to visit the mining museum. And in that same packet online, they would be able to have information of other areas to visit. So we're going to really try pushing that as a visitor center. The radio spots we still do. That is a radio spot that reaches out throughout I-40. We have different advertisements and promotional opportunities through that. Magazines and tourism, what we're doing right now with the magazines, newspapers, publications, is what we do look at is not only will it be an ad in a magazine, but we will also be able to know that that's available on social media. A lot of people look through that for travel plans. So they will look at what's available in the community, what can we do while we're there, RV parks, and all kinds of growth will be beneficial for us to have the websites that are magazines as well. That way we're reaching out to every type of person if they like to have their magazine with mapping and ideas, or they also go online and look up things online or through apps. We also have annual fundraisers and events. This year, what we're planning to do is involve all three entities in a evening event that would be a wine and beer festival. In doing that, we would have an evening event that would focus on adults, but then the Chamber of Commerce should directly get involved with the pumpkin patch in the Village of Milan and really help you with advertising that and pulling more and more to your event and growing it. I think that has been a wonderful idea that you all have done. Is the pumpkin patch is it's a kid focused event. I think it's great. We have some fundraiser ideas for that as well. The 4th of July parade, that is a community event. And of course, we're hopeful that we can do that this year. We are hearing good things. It sounds like we will be able to get a permit to do that. And then our annual banquet and fundraiser. We also have different trade shows and booths that we would be attending where we could represent the Village of Milan as well. That obviously did not happen this past year. So we're looking forward to maybe getting to do those things again. We need administrative fulfillment. We have a museum that we run 6 days a week. We also have an administrative assistant and we run that with one associate. The dream that I have is that we'd be able to start training the associates for the other museums and have, just a really good visitor experience for anyone that comes to any of the other locations. Right now, every museum is pretty much run by volunteers. And that is getting difficult. And sometimes, when you're relying on a volunteer to show up to open a museum, things happen and you may not have that individual there to open up the museum. So my thought is if the Chamber of Commerce can become the center of those types of visits, then we can help with museums. We can help with actually having an employee there to greet tourists and to know how to represent our community. So that's all something that I would like to see come up in the next few years. I keep thinking I would love to see it happen tomorrow, but this is probably like a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan as we move forward. Regarding reporting to the Village of Milan, I believe that the Chamber of Commerce would be responsible for at least a quarterly report to the village and show you specifically what we're doing for the village. We would also be wanting to work with you on any marketing plans that you may have thought of, but are worrying about, how can we afford to do all of this? And then also marketing becomes centered and put on the same page with all the entities so that our efforts become, better utilized and that we're not wasting money to do it. So do you have any questions? I'm hoping that we can open the door to these relationships and then be able to move forward.
Questions? Anybody have questions?
It was very nice to present to you all tonight. And when we do have a replacement for the Chamber of Commerce, they will be taking these plans and moving forward as well. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Okay, now we have the resolution 2021-014 transit support.
Can we move that to the special meeting? continue to special. Which one did you? Melissa.
I think
Good evening, everyone. I know I'm a little early. We usually come in about October, December to ask for future funding. We do have to ask for our funding in advance. So I came to you and asking for fiscal year 2023. We're asking for the same amount of $29,899.27. We have not changed that. I gave you a few things in your packet. One is the trips from 2019 of October to September 2020, showing you a detailed trip of everything from the health trips, government work, miscellaneous shopping, home, NMSU youth trips, and bus stops. It also includes the ADA passengers, veterans, the cancels, no-shows, miles, hours, fares, and passes. The other one is the same thing, but it's the up-to-date one. It's for October 2020 to last month of April. The other thing that I gave you in your packet, I had one of the board members from the county ask for a detailed report on what you guys pay. So I thought if they asked for that, they wanted that, I felt that you guys should see that as well. Breaks it down in for admin and operations, so you could see exactly where your money's going. Any questions or concerns on anything that I've gave you so far?
no.
No? It's the usual amount then, nothing has
Okay.
changed.
Okay. So we need to vote on 29, correct me if I'm wrong, $29,889.25.
29,899.27.
899. Okay.
Does the city and the county pay, what percentage do they pay? Do they pay around the same or?
So Cibola County pays $51,916.69. The city of Grants pays $52,000. And you pay $29,899.27 for a total of $133,815.97.
Thank you.
Okay.
So this is the misprint on here? Says 29,889, not 899.
Yes, it should be 899. The top one is correct, the bottom.
Okay, having said that, we have a motion to,
I make a motion to approve resolution 2021-014 for transit support.
I'll second it.
motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brambolo, second by Trustee Lopez. Trustee Baca,
Yes, for 29,899.27.
Mayor Pro Tem Brambolo,
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Thank you. Council of Governments membership for year 2022.
So this is your annual agreement with the Council of Governments. The amount has stayed the same. It'll stay at 13,500 if you agree.
Okay,
It's just an annual payment that we pay. They help us with seeking grants and
that's the same amount that we paid. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with New Mexico Council of Governments for 13,500.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Trustee Lopez, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brambolo. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brambolo,
Yes.
Trustee Baca.
Yes.
Representation of Village of Milan and Northwest Council of Governments meetings. If I'm not mistaken, it was Trustee Baca and Trustee Lopez.
Mhm.
Do both of you still want to be on
For the council. and
the COG?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next we have the organizational chart, chain of command.
So this was discussed at the workshop. Sarah did make some corrections to the names. I believe the graph stayed the same as far as who is working for who. Just an update.
Under the fire chief, would Daniel fall under there? Would the fire chief be the supervisor to Daniel?
Yes.
I didn't see that in there.
Any other questions? If not, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the organizational chart, chain of command.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion by trustee Lopez, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brumble. Trustee Baca,
Yes.
trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumble.
Yes.
Thank you. Emergency purchase for the, I believe that's the sprinkler heads.
So as you know, the budget is closed now, so we're only doing emergency purchases and we're being strict about it. It has to be an emergency. When I got the notice that the sprinkler heads that we had ordered about 2 months ago, right before the budget closed, we ordered 3 cases of sprinkler heads. What's happened is the other park, those sprinkler heads have been there for quite a while. And so what's happening is they're breaking, and we went through all 3 cases of sprinkler heads. So we do need more, but I couldn't justify it in life and property or, affecting that. So I needed to come and make sure that you guys were okay with that. If you want us to make that purchase, if not, it'll be after July. And I think our parks have enough.
There's enough funding in the parks for that to
There
get it
is,
now?
this purchase will only be $1,795.50. So they do have it in their budget.
Okay.
But it was something that I wanted to bring because I couldn't really justify it as an emergency. So I wanted to ask first.
Mhm. I'm okay with that too. Yes, yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that we do purchase the sprinkler heads as an emergency.
Ma'am?
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumble, second by trustee Lopez. Mayor Pro Tem Brumble,
Yes.
trustee Baca,
Yes.
trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so this one just came out. I talked to Denise, but we had already sent out the package. So she said, I had an emergency purchase on there. Go ahead and bring the other one up too as well. So as you know, we've been doing repairs on our well B35. We issued a PO for those repairs in the amount of $9,999. As they were working on that repair, they ran into some machining that needed to be done. The machining cost about $1,300. So the company and they reached out to us and asked if we could get an increase of $1,300, which would put the total PO above the $10,000 mark. So that's why I'm here. It'll put it up to $11,299.00, and it is important because we are down to one well, so we needed to get that well repaired. It is repaired. They did put the parts in already, but they're just asking to be compensated for that cost.
And how much is that?
So it'll be 11,000 total. We're just adding $1,300. Sorry. So the total will be $11,299.
And that money's coming out of what?
It'll come out of the waters, the repair and hydrants maintenance.
So we're just increasing it by 1,300.
1,300.
Okay.
But it does put it above that $10,000
Yeah.
mark. So.
think being that it's a well, I think it's, I
Yeah.
think we kind of have to have it.
Mhm. You have to have the well.
Yes.
So,
Um,
Make a motion to approve the $11,013,299.
It's $11,299 will be the total.
$11,299.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Baca, second by trustee Lopez. Mayor Pro Tem Brumble,
yes.
trustee Lopez,
Yes.
trustee Baca,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Next we go to the fencing option Maribel Park.
Okay, so you all, were given a map last month at the meeting with different sections highlighted. I got direction from you on which ones you want to go with. I went out for quotes. Unfortunately, the black decorative fencing is way out of range. We're looking at 42,000, which we do not have left in that project. So we have 32,000 remaining. This is a state contract price agreement, and it is actually the lowest that we've received. It does not include labor. With the labor, it's going to look at approximately 6 weeks out because they're so backed up. They're blaming COVID, material costs, everything else has increased. So if you want to purchase the fence without it installed, this is the cost. If you want to wait for installation, we can, but I would like to get that money committed, and if we go over that amount, we'll have to seek additional funding.
I think, wasn't it George who said that they could do it?
They did say they could do it. It is gonna take some time because we are limited on 2 members. They're in the process of hiring. I don't know if they've had any applicants. We do have an attachment for the backhoe that can, I guess, drill for the poles. So they do have equipment that they can use to install it. This doesn't include concrete, so that'll be an additional cost if we want the closest concrete against the ground, which I suggest we do.
So this, Denise, this is doing the pond and the outside fence.
This is just the outside perimeter and in between the park and the pond area. Because we were trying to go with the decorative fence, we didn't get the full amount for the full quote for the chain link fence, but we can add that as well. We will have enough to do the additional, I believe, 450 feet. So the same company it'll be the same cost, just the 450 additional feet. So this is actually state contract pricing.
How tall is the fencing?
It's 4 foot.
4
and
foot.
it's chain link.
Okay.
Is this the $18,000 we saved?
Yes, we actually have 32,000 left, so this is part of the 18. This will be 18,000 left.
And we're gonna do it in-house. The guys will do it if we go with this
If
price.
you go with this price, yes, the guys will do it. If not, we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks, and we can't guarantee a price because of the increases.
Okay.
My thought is that we need to go ahead with the fencing, especially around that pond. That's a
Yeah.
big liability for the
And I
village.
can add that to this if you want to give me the direction in your motion. I can add that as well to this.
I just feel like it's a big
You
liability.
mean the
and we
pond,
need to get
whether the rest gets done, the pond needs to be done.
Okay.
So we will have enough to do the entire perimeter of the park along with the pond. So this is 18,000, and this doesn't include the pond. The pond is only 450 additional feet. So it shouldn't be over the 32,000. As well as the-
I think with the, if you want to make a motion to include the pond, you can include the motion, the pond in this motion also.
I will make a motion for the fencing at Maribel Park, including the outside perimeter and the pond.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumble, second by trustee Lopez, excuse me. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
trustee Baca,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumble,
Yes.
thank you. camera presentation. Uh,
So board, I'm not gonna get up to the podium because I'm gonna show you on this. I don't know if you guys can see this. I can't really turn it much more. So, what I was tasked to do was to find a camera system that we would be able to utilize at the parks and other places. We've been having a lot of vandalism in our parks, and so we wanted cameras that they're gonna have, and they have domes around them so that they can't throw rocks at them, break them, do things of that nature. So there's a company called Verkada. They send us demo cameras. That's what these cameras are doing out here. There's one on the side of the building outside. There's one above the door here. And I did it because I needed to have a high traffic area to show you what these camera systems can do. The first thing to say is that all of the footage is stored in the cloud offsite. That means if the building burns or we lose power, it doesn't matter. The footage is safe if we need to get it for whatever purpose. Let me pull you up the web browser here that shows, you can see the entryway, you can see the side door where they're mounted. Now, they both have night vision. They all have night vision. So if you don't have any light, you can still see everything clear as day. But let me go into a little detail on what makes these cameras different from most. You see the grid around that, you can activate that grid and say, I only want to notify when there's motion in this area, or there's people in this area, or if there's a group of anywhere from 2 to 20 people, it'll notify you. And it won't just notify, right now I'm the only one being notified because I'm setting it up just for demo. But what happens is you can get your PD, and what it will do is you can set it up to say, hey, when someone's messing with the water valve, or someone comes in this area, send a text to the officers, and then whoever's on duty can go to the park and say, hey, you know. But the nice thing about it is, let's say you didn't catch them. This system keeps track of people's faces. And that's why I put it here to show you. If I look up for people, it's gonna take a second to pull up because we've got the cameras going and everything going right now. It'll show the date, the time, and the person's face that's come through. Now, they're, you know, depending on the faces they make, of course, but you see that it, so the thing about it is, let's say, here's the chief. Let's say the chief, okay, he walked in here. If I didn't know who he was, I could click on him and the camera system would pull his face up on every camera we had. If he was at a park, if he was at one of the other buildings that had the camera, if we decide to put him there. You know, if you had a kid or a person at a park that was vandalizing and you didn't catch them, but you saw their face, you could click it and it would pull it up to see if they were at any of the other parks, or if they've come in to pay a water bill, or if they've come. So that's one of the things that it does, is it has facial recognition, and you can pull up that person for whatever instances, you know, if you don't know who they are. The other thing that it does is, and again, good for the parks, is vehicle recognition. We don't have vehicles inside, so I can't pull them up here. So it's looking, but it's not gonna find any. Basically, if it sees a car, it tags it with its software, and it pays attention to what it is. I can search for silver trucks. I can search for blue convertibles. I can search for just about any type of vehicle, and it will pull every instance up at every camera that we have of this system, because they're all together. The other thing it does is, once you've decided on a vehicle, if the license plate's visible, it can give you the license plate number. So if you saw somebody vandalizing something or tearing something up, and then you saw what vehicle they got into, you could pull that up. And if you got the license plate, you could actually locate the person through that. And that's why I say this system is I put it here for, like I said, so I could show, it'll do stats also if you want to know how much motion. This is internet traffic stats, doesn't really mean much for anybody, but this is the motion from 7:45 on this particular camera till up until now. Like I said, the nice thing about it is the facial recognition of the camera, because then if you don't know who it is, you can locate them if they've gone to the parks, if you have multiple vandalizations or anything going like that. The outside camera gets the side door. It's not getting the vehicles because I have it pointed to the side door, and so I don't believe it's getting vehicles, but there's, and you can go through the history and see whatever's there. It's all cloud storage. It's unlimited storage. So it's just something for you guys to think about. If we go buy an off-shelf system, we can put it up. The problem we're going to have is most of those aren't built to take a beating from, because they had cameras before, I believe, and the kids were knocking them down and doing stuff with them. These you can't. You see that bubble out there, they can crack, you know, that's a ABS plastic bubble. It's not gonna break, the camera's inside. But, so it's just an option for you to think about, maybe if you're interested in doing that at the parks. We have, like I said, these here are demos. I have to send them back at the end of the month unless we decide to keep them. I only put them in those locations because, like I said, I needed traffic, and that was my best bet for traffic. But the camera, they're not as cheap as buying a camera system, though. You can go buy a full camera system for like $500-600. These are about $1,000 a camera. Now, you don't have to buy cameras for everywhere. If you buy them for the parks, I think it would be good. I know the chief wants to buy them for his PD, but he's got some funding also, so, you know, but something to look at. I got a quote for them to do the PD cameras, which would be a couple outside, an outside camera for our parking lot, their parking lot, inside cameras for his evidence room, his lobby, his hallway, and then the one we have here for our lobby, and then 2 for the parks. I didn't do all the parks because I don't know that Kearns yet you're interested, but for all those, and then for the subscription fee for the storage and the software is about $9,000. Now you only pay that one time. Once the cameras, you buy them, they're yours, and then you just pay an annual fee for the software, which is not nowhere near that. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but that's where I'm at with this. Is I just wanted to present it to you and show you the capabilities of the camera system. I don't know if I have any mic pictures or mic. In the PM, so you can see some mic footage. I don't think you see it on the slide there because we have that light out there. Yeah, you have that light, but you can still see, but you can see very clear. The other thing is you can zoom in on these. If I don't see a face, I can zoom on it and it'll clean it up and you can see who it is. We had an incident, I don't know if you're all, I think you're all aware that they had just had with something that the PD had, and the camera footage is horrible. You can see what happened, but you can't make out who it is, and that does nobody any good. So again, this, like I said, this was just something I was researching for the parks and for the buildings too. I mean, the chief's interested in having it in his because he needs it for his evidence from other places, but that's what this system is. And I don't know that you need to act on it because it's not anything that you have to buy right now. It's just something to keep in mind. It's probably something you might want to do, especially when you get that new park up. You hate to see them tearing it up. And the nice thing, like I said, is I can set one camera up and highlight the basketball courts, the parking lot in certain areas and say when people are in these areas, notify the PD after certain times, you know.
Like for Elkins Park, would it only take one camera for?
I only asked for one right now because I don't know, you know, we got to get it situated with what's the best spot. You see they're pretty wide angle, but we might want more than one at Elkins Park, I would think.
Yeah, I think that
Just
would
to
be
get started. Now, like I said, it's a little costly at first, but once you get it going, this can be a very valuable tool, even for the PD. If they had something, you know, where you could pull that person up on every camera or that vehicle. So just something for you guys to think about. If we were going to do cameras, I like this system a lot. I know there's other systems out there, but the fact that they have the domes, they're protected from damage and things of that nature, I think is a good thing for us.
All right.
That's all, unless you guys have any questions.
Can you add more cameras to the package? I mean, do you get a
Yes,
package to set them out?
No, and that's what he said is most entities, because they're not cheap, start with an area and then they add as they go. And so one of the questions that I had for them was, we don't have internet at the parks, so what are we going to do? They can partner with Verizon or a different cell phone carrier, and that footage is all happening live, so it doesn't have to get saved and stored and then downloaded or backed up. It just goes right to its storage automatically. But yes, we can add as many cameras as we want to the system. If we want to do different buildings, doesn't matter where we put them, they're all linked together with that account. So you can search the entire, a lot of cities put them on their traffic lights to do traffic counting because it'll count the vehicles. And you see on the news, a lot of these things that you're seeing now and the footage, it's cameras like this. But again, like I said, we do have a small problem in our parks and it might be worth looking into, at least for there. And I know the chief's interested for his building, but I think he's
All right.
his own thing.
That's good to know. Thank you. Okay, next we're going to close session, personnel and litigation matters pursuant to section 10-15-1 and H2 plus 10-15-1, H7 NMSA 1978. I need a